Hi and welcome to Karmaspiritus. My name is T. Not a traditional tarot reader. I more read the energies of the cards and not necessarily the depiction. My readings aren't time specific, so there may be a message here for you that's ongoing or a message you need to hear to support you. The energies do not come directly from me. I'm merely the channel. And the messages that are appearing from the card. So please do remember that. There has been, we're in the Mercury retrograde and we've had two massive eclipses. So hopefully there's messages here in regards to those as well. I don't really use astrology as such for my readings. Do go ahead and listen to your moon and rising sign. There may be something that's influencing your chart quite strongly in those signs at the moment. Receive these messages with love and light, and with that we'll start your reading, Libra. Hope you're doing well. As you remember, I do like the jumpers. There's two that's come out very quickly. 10 of coins reversed. As I feel that one is first. And the devil reversed. So 2 more cards for Libra for August and onwards. Right. We have the Chariot upright. As I said, I may not actually read the cards upright or reverse. It just depends on the energy that becomes available to us for this reading. The eclipses have been very powerful, very strong. Emotions up, down. I felt very jittery, especially in the last one. Had to really sort of have salt baths and Florida water and really sort of ground myself due to the energies that are here and will be here for the next 6 months. We have work to do, people. Work to do on ourselves. For our paths to be in alignment with the timelines that are happening. As I said, I'm not a massive astrologer at all, but I do pick up on things that are going on. So we need to get things right. Whatever's going on in our paths, you have the Ace of Cups. Whatever's going on in your life at the moment needs to be aligned with the energies. Right, okay, let me just tune in. I feel a buzz and excitement. I feel that there's an energy of anything goes, and I do believe you're actually going for it. Whether it's right or not for you at this moment in time, Libra, I'm not so sure. It appears that you've been spending, your expenditure has far exceeded what you can actually afford at this time. And you've been going for the trappings of life, overspending, just doing those things that excite you, that bring pleasure, that bring whatever you desire at this moment in time. And those things are okay for a minute. Maybe you've gone on holiday and you've been spending a lot on clothes and your change of clothes every day, jewelry to match, and all the accessories. Maybe you've bought a new car recently, or you're thinking about buying a new car, and this car is either you bought it already and it's bringing a lot of expenditure to your current financial situation, or you're thinking of doing it. I would err on caution, especially if you've bought it in a time that your energy is not as grounded as it usually may be, where you're thinking of how this car looks, how this expenditure will, be attractive and, self-gratifying in lots of ways. And from what I remember, I think, Libra, you've spent a lot of money very recently. You've blown a lot of money, I feel. So you've used your money quite recklessly in the recent past. And that's okay for a time, but when you start to worry about where the next financial income is coming from, whether your expenses are going to exceed what you actually have, whether you're going to have to use your credit card again to cover your expenditure. And I feel like maybe you're on holiday, and when you return from that holiday, then you've got all these bills that you need to pay on a day-to-day basis, but you've also got the expenditure that you spent before you went. Or if you've sold a car to buy a new one, maybe the profit that you thought you'd have from that car hasn't really turned out to be, what you thought. And the money that you got back from that is not really covering the part of the deposit. And now you've got the long-term. If it's financed, you've got a long-term view of having to pay for this expenditure. You've got your mortgage, you've got your rent, you've got your daily outgoings, you've got to get to work, pay for the petrol. Maybe this car is more powerful than the last one that you've bought, and it takes a lot more, it consumes a lot more petrol. The consumption is a lot more. Maybe that you've realized that you can't actually afford to drive this car to and from work. So you're going to have the added expenditure of buying a travel card or a travel pass, or jumping in with a friend and paying their petrol. So this expenditure in general that you've had is really taking its toll. And maybe you've got more outgoings as well. You've overspent in lots of different ways, and you're wondering now how you are going to really manage for the next 6 months, for the next 10, 12 months, your repayment time for this car. If this is a relationship, maybe you spent a lot of money within that relationship, whether it's buying expensive meals, going out a lot, buying clothes to go out on top of the expenditure of the time that you're having. Maybe you've been out, you've been drinking a lot, you've been doing all these exciting things which are fantastic at the time, pleasurable, gratifying. But now, this is what this person is accustomed to. They're accustomed to seeing you with fancy bags, fancy clothes, your hair's different every time. You know, you've bought this car because you didn't have one before. Now they've seen you in this car. You can't go back. You know, maybe your life within itself is just not adding up. Maybe the relationship that you've entered with this person is not giving you that sense of commitment and happiness and contentment that you thought it would. You've gone along with it. You know, you found that this person is not quite the person that you felt they were. They may be their expenses. You're looking at the situation and you're figuring out, well, how does this add up? You know, they work part-time. They've got this car. They do minimal amount of hours. They're spending all this money on me. How does this work out? Maybe the relationship itself, within the emotions, maybe you're feeling unsupported. Maybe you're feeling as though this person is too jealous, too possessive, too controlling. And maybe this is a time where you're now reflecting on previous relationships, previous times where you've had situations with people that haven't added up, have not been leading to that air of contentment and that you need. And this has been, if so, an ongoing thing, and you've been single all this time. You've been the driving force in your life. Dating, probably, not seriously. And going out with these people, but knowing in your head they're not the right one. But, you know, at the end of the day, everybody needs some fun, some time with, you know, someone else, a companion, and pleasures in life that anybody else may have. But you're realizing that this situation, these circumstances that you're in, are not working out. Maybe you are just careering towards a situation that is not for you. And you need to use your intuition and your inner guidance. You have an inner navigation system, you know, that lets you know when things are not right. And then, you know, due to the fun that you're having, the time that you're sharing with this person, you just keep going. But when it comes down to it, your inner knowing, your intuition tells you that this thing is just not going to work out. The overspending that you're doing is going to lead to, you know, you robbing Peter to pay Paul to do all these things. You're gambling your life away. Maybe you've gambled. Maybe you've put money on something with the intention that this thing is going to pay you dividends. Maybe you went into a business deal that you felt was lucrative and was going to give you abundant returns, and it's failed. But you had that inner knowing, that inner feeling that And there's a possibility you weighed up that this, if you're going to gamble, there's two ways it can go. You can lose or you could win. But you should have thought about, this is what they're telling me, the amount of money that you have already in the bank, your expenditure, and what you're willing to put and gamble on this bet, on this false promise, this risk that you took. Maybe you're paying for an expensive holiday and you are absolutely beside yourself in worrying about how you're going to live when you get back. But you're still spending. You're still going to all these locations and attractions and still spending because at the moment it feels good. That business deal has left you in real dire straits. But you are still willing, or have been willing, to gamble, take a gamble on this. Trust somebody else's hunch. But this is in the past, but you're still driving forward with this situation. You're still going full speed ahead into this gratifying situation. This has been your life span at the moment. But remember, we were talking about the eclipse period and the time frames that we have right now. And if you don't settle this up, this bill I'm hearing, if you don't come to terms with the fact that you need to pull back, rein back on your spending, on your overindulging, it's going to lead to some serious problems, Libra. Because if you're still continuing down this path with this person that's not making you feel complete, they can't make you feel complete. It's only you, yourself, that can make you feel whole and complete. But if they are remember, when you're in a relationship with someone, they're supposed to bring things to the table. Your life is supposed to feel so much better with them. But if you feel, there's alarm bells ringing, there's red flags going, this person is too hypersensitive. So anything you do, they're going to be very edgy. If they're already possessive and jealous, they're going to be coming to this hypersensitivity. You may break out in massive conflicts and arguments and situations where it's completely out of control, I'm hearing. Use your intuition in this. And your self-love. The love for yourself that you have. Before you met this person, you may have already been in other relationships that you felt the same alarm bells ringing. You didn't go on your hunches. You just careered right ahead with these situations with people. And you knew it wasn't going to turn out right. You knew you'd gone way overboard. Your cup runneth over with this whole ideal of relationship and what this person would be able to bring. Maybe they had loads of money and you felt money could sort of make you happy within this relationship. They could give you what you wanted. They were buying you stuff. And now you realise they can't afford this car. They can't afford this lifestyle. So if they are trying to pull the wool over your eyes with this, what else is it you don't know? What else is there that's undercover? What else is there in their personality that is actually hidden under all this gratifying treats, presents, gifts, taking you out and doing all these things? What's under here? What is really going on? When you're not around, who is this person? You may be even feeling to yourself that you're putting on a show. You're showing this person that, you're working and you're not working, that you're able to afford this lifestyle, and you are nowhere near there. And by the time you get home, there's going to be even more problems. But you just can't help yourself, because at the moment, this energy feels good. It's giving you this feeling of, Libra, let's face it, you can feel and act as though you're in that moment, really in that moment. And you can pull the wool over your own eyes and not realize the amount you are fooling yourself. You can become quite boastful, quite sure of yourself, and in certain situations, Libra, this is a very good trait. You can get jobs, you're able to put on a facade that allows you to achieve a lot of things in life. But in the cold light of day, Libra, you're forgetting yourself, your present situation, and the circumstances you will have to face. And I do feel this whole reading is about overindulging. And it's something that you continue to do. Because the last card is the Ace of Cups. That can be all about the trappings, the passion, the overindulging. Your cup runneth over. But what is it actually running over with? Is it, an unsure bet? Is it gambling? Is it pretending? Oh, all false pretenses. Your finances, this relationship, this job that you've gone into, this business that you've taken on, this gamble that you took. This appears to be in the past, but you still are careering ahead, because there's no stopping you at the moment. Well, Libra, the guidance is here. And you know in your heart that this situation is not going to end very well if you continue down this path. You know that you are overindulging on every level. You know that your finances are not where they could be or need to be to have this type of life, to have these experiences that you're having at the moment. When you get home in the cold light of day, what's going to happen? Libra, why is this happening? Let's look back. I feel I can hear it's always going to be like this. This is what I'm hearing. It's always going to be like this. And it's okay to have good expectations of how your life will be. And from very young, Libra, you had this expectation of how things would be. You wanted the best in life. And that is absolutely fine. The best in life. But think about the people around you. What are they saying? What have they been saying all this time about you? Because I feel that you know all this time people have been looking at you and saying, wow, Libra, seriously, it's not all about you. It's not all about what you need and how you need it. Not everything goes in the way that you feel it should. But you will go out of your way, and always have been going out of your way to have exactly what you need. You will go ahead, be that person, top of the list, always there at the front, even though you may not have actually deserved that place. I can see you around a table and there's a party and everyone's sitting there. Everything's being laid out, put on the table, all the sweets, the crisps, everything that everybody enjoys at a party. It's not your birthday, but Libra, you're at the head of the table. And someone else has realised the situation and they're looking at you. All you can think about at this moment in time is how much you can have and how special this birthday party is and all these treats that you're going to indulge in. So the party pursues. Everything is just the way it needs to be. Except you are at one head of the table and the party person is at the other. Every time there's a game, you jump in and you snatch out of people's hands. And you say to yourself, well, I was there first. It doesn't matter whose party it is. If I get there first, then this is mine. So there's someone on the side, seated more or less in the middle, looking at you and looking at the party person. Their face is becoming quite depleted because they're not as forceful. They're not as pushy. They don't have the confidence that you have, Libra. But you've bared no notice. You don't see that you've upset the party person. So the party continues, and you've realised that if you reach far enough, because of where everything's positioned, you will get everything first. So you're no longer seated as everyone else is. You're actually now on your knees, on the chair, stretched over, literally in the middle, halfway along your side of the table. Libra. No one else is able to get to their party plate. No one else is able to grab and get the best things, the best treats, the best crisps, or anything else. Because you're there first. People are starting to feel quite intimidated. They've shied away. They're almost feeling as if they're not worthy. But Libra, you're there right up front. So the party goes on. It's now time for games. So everyone, especially the people on your side, quite depleted. The party person's no longer really enjoying their time. Everybody's asking them what's wrong. They can't really say. They don't feel they can say. But you've bared no notice at all. You're just going for it. You are absolutely on top form. You've managed to grab everything first. You're full, you're happy, you're content, and actually, the things at the other end of the table, you were asking other people to pass you. And the party person. So we've moved on. And they're on the floor, enjoying all the party games. And there's ones that you are not happy with. Why? Because this party game in particular is pot luck. There's no strategy. There's no grabbing first. You have to wait your turn. Libra, you're not happy. You've actually worked out that if this continues, you might not get the prize. And this is not up your street at all. So you've decided you're not going to play this game anymore. So you've got up, you've pulled away from the group, and you've sat on the side, and you're sulking. So people have tried to, ask you, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's happened? Why are you upset? You said, no, I'm not playing. Why aren't you playing? I don't want to. Okay. That's spoilt the atmosphere, and now your team is actually losing because you've pulled out. Safety, and your people are stronger in numbers. You're more likely to win the game if you're part of that team. But you haven't worked that out, Libra, because you're so upset that you just might not get the prize. Forget your teammates. That's not your thought pattern. You're thinking, how am I going to win? And because you feel that you're not going to be the winner, you prefer not to have anything at all. Well, it turns out that your team are on the winning streak. And you've realised that. You've decided at the last minute that you're going to join in again. So your team is now completely and utterly upset with you. All that time when they were struggling to achieve their goal as a team, you decided you were pulling out. You were not playing anymore because you could not solely win the prize. And now you're back. There's a lot of resentment in the room, Libra. There's a lot of issues with what you've just done. But Libra, true to form, rocks up, sits down as if nothing happened. You've worked out that your team is winning, but if you hold on to a certain position at the right time, you may be the winner. So you've sat and you wait. You tell the others, hurry up. Hurry up. That's not fair. You're doing this. You're not doing that. Quick. But the fact is, they've been playing all this time without you. You decided to pull away because it wasn't enough for you to be part of that team. You want it all. And now you're telling them what to do so you can get the prize. It's not a good look, Libra. But you're not bothered. This just doesn't concern you. So in the end, it's coming to the very, very last rounds, and you've decided, do you know what? I'm just going to hold on to this prize anyway. They didn't deserve it. I told them to hurry up. They didn't quite do that. That's not my problem. I need to win. Well, that person that was sitting on the side of that table decided it wasn't your turn. They snatched the prize out of your hand. Open it up and share it out with the rest of your team. You are absolutely beside yourself. You've lost completely. And Libra, you're feeling cheated. You're feeling really hard done by. That person's come to you and explained to you why It wasn't fair. Your actions, how you presented yourself for the whole day, including the food on the table, stretching over, not allowing anyone else to have their turn to eat the food that was presented for everyone. And you felt justified, Libra. Why? Because you are you. And no amount of what they're going to say to you is going to change your mind. You risked being the odd one out, the person that would lose the friendships. You didn't mind if you were not popular. You didn't care about the consequences as long as you got what you needed. And now, look, you get nothing. You went home upset. You told your parents about how you were cheated out of your prize. But they were not there. They didn't see that you were not playing as part of that team. And that's why you lost out completely.